good evening and a warm welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I'm Heshain Ali. Let's have a look at the headlines first. The travel ban enforced on passengers arriving from the Gulf has been revoked, the Civil Aviation Authority announces. Government plans a 39-acre bird park in Colombo, Urban Development Authority reveals. News in detail. The Civil Aviation Authority today announced that the travel ban enforced on passengers arriving from the Gulf has been revoked under certain conditions. The National Operations Center for the Prevention of the COVID-19 outbreak had decided to ban passengers from the 6 Gulf countries on Monday, and the decision was revoked this morning. The Civil Aviation Authority said that in accordance with instructions received from the Ministry of Health and the National Operations Center for Prevention of COVID-19 outbreak, the passenger restriction on Qatar, Oman, Bahrain, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia and Kuwait has been revoked with immediate effect. However, all passengers arriving from these countries must have a negative PCR test obtained within 96 hours prior to departure. The respective airline must ensure this before boarding passengers. Antigen tests will not be accepted as a pre-departure test for boarding, and PCR test must be presented from a government-approved hospital or a laboratory in the respective country with a QR code or barcode. The airlines must also satisfy themselves of the authenticity of the test reports presented by the passengers. Passengers from these countries are also permitted to arrive only for hotel quarantine or through the Sri Lanka tourism bio-bubble route. The Civil Aviation Authority said that the conditions will apply until further notice. Accordingly, all online and offline airlines had been directed that passengers with a travel history in the past 14 days to Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Bahrain and Kuwait will not be permitted to disembark in Sri Lanka with effect from the 1st of July. Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka, the electricity sector regulator, launches a hotline to address and resolve the electricity complaints online. Public Utilities Commission also requests the public and other stakeholders to use online and social media platforms to connect with officials without visiting the officials in the premises. Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka announces that it is looking at more contactless ways to resolve consumer issues using a hotline and social media platform such as WhatsApp, Viber and Imo, or short message service or voice call. Chairman of Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka, Janak Ratnayaka, said that the PUCSL, being the regulator of the electricity sector, will accept consumer grievances and complaints of the electricity consumers. Chairman Ratnayaka said that they expect to expedite and maximize their services to the consumers and other stakeholders through the method allowing all the stakeholders to connect with them anytime. Accordingly, consumers can now get connected to PUCSL via its hotline 077 5687 387, and the same number is available for WhatsApp, Viber and Imo. Consumers are requested to submit a written complaint by taking a photo of the written complaint and uploading it via social media platforms or as a typed message. To provide better service within a short period, consumers are also kindly advised to mention the name and the address, contact telephone number and email address, electricity account number, description of the complaint, relevant attachments. With the submission of the complaint, the consumer will receive a reference number to follow up with the inquiry, and if any issue arises while filing the complaint, the consumer can contact an official on the same number. In addition to this service, the public and other stakeholders can also connect with PUCSL by calling 011 239 2607 or 011 239 2608 and info@pucsl.gov.lk or customers@pucsl.gov.lk or www.facebook.com/pucsl. Government instructs the large-scale beverage companies that manufacture soft drinks using plastic bottles introduce recycle plans unless they want the plastic bottles to be banned. Environment Minister Mahinda Amarira said that the ban on polythene and plastics would force the relevant manufacturers to look for alternatives. The 3 large-scale beverage companies that manufacture soft drinks using polyethylene terephthalate bottles have been instructed to come up with a recycling plan within 2 weeks before banning them. The minister instructed the officials following a discussion held with representatives of 3 major companies at the ministry. The minister mentioned that all 3 companies have been using glass bottles to market their products since their inception, but later commenced using plastic bottles. Minister Ambarira also said that companies have already initiated a program to recycle plastic bottles, but a proper procedure is not to be seen. He suggested, therefore, recycling should not be regularized, neither plastic bottles to be manufactured. He asserted that at least 10% of the beverage bottles produced by these companies are not recycled. Accordingly, the relevant manufacturers have to look for alternatives soon. The minister also added that the ministry also instructed to immediately stop producing the 250 milliliter small plastic bottles for the market of soft drinks. Stay tuned for more news right after this commercial break.
දැන් නිවසේ සිටම ආරක්ෂාකාරීව පාසුවෙන් SLT මොබිටෙල් හෝම් බිල් පත් ගනුදෙනු සිදු කරන්න ඔබට පුළුවන්. MySLT ඇප් එක හරහා SLT මොබිටෙල් වෙබ් අඩවියෙන් බිල්පතේ QR කේතියෙන් ඉන්ටර්නෙට් බැංකින් හා බැංකින් ඇප් මගින් ඔබේ ආරක්ෂාව වෙනුවෙන් වගකීම් ඉටු කරන SLT මොබිටෙල් එකම එක සබැදියාව.
ජාතික ලොතරැයි මණ්ඩලයේ පාරිභෝගික ඔබ වෙත කෙරෙන විශේෂ නිවේදනයයි. ජයග්‍රාහී ටිකට් පත් වළංගු වන්නේ දිනුම් අදින ලද දින සිට මාස 6ක් පමණි. යන නියමයට අදාළ මාස 6ක කාලය ගණනය කරනුයේ සංචරණ සීමා පැන වූ දිනයන් බැහැර කරමිනි. එයට අමතරව තවත් දින 14ක සහන කාලයක් ඔබේ ජයග්‍රාහී ටිකට් පත ඉදිරිපත් කිරීම සඳහා ලැබේ. ජාතික ලොතරැයි මණ්ඩලය.
අන්ලිමිටඩ් නම් මෙතින් SLT මොබිටෙල් අන්ලිමිටඩ් ඉන්ටර්නෙට්. හැමෝටම ෆිට වෙන හෝම් සහ මොබයිල් ඉන්ටර්නෙට් පැකේජ් පෙළක්. කුරු වෙන්න අපේ අන්ලිමිටඩ් ඉන්ටර්නෙට් වලට. SLT මොබිටෙල් එකම එක සබැඳියාව.
Welcome back after the break. Billionaire businessman Dhammika Perera says that the country has no any reason to worry over the due loan premiums if the authorities have a correct vision. Speaking to a private YouTube channel, renowned business tycoon Dhammika Perera says that the most important task at the moment is making available the corona vaccine for all before worrying over the economy.
හැම දෙයක්ම තමන්ට සාපේක්ෂව හිතන්නේ. රටට සාපේක්ෂව හිතන්න. එහෙමනම් ඒකට ප්‍රශ්නෙට උත්තරේ දෙන්න ඉන්න ඕනේ. මම කවදාවත් ඇවිල්ලා අඬලා නැහනේ. අඬන්නෙත් නැහැ. අවශ්‍යතාවයක් නැහැ. මට හොඳ නොලෙජ් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඩොලර් බිලියන 30යි තියෙන්නේ. මේ 30ට මැක්සිමම් පොලි එන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මොකද ඔය 107ට බරෝ කරාට අපිට ලෝ ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් රේට් එකකට දීපුවා තියෙනවානේ. එතකොට ගිහිල්ලා බලන්න ගිය අවුරුද්දේ සෙන්ට්‍රල් බැංක් රිපෝට් එකේ මේකට කොස්ට් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ 4.55. ඒ කියන්නේ 4.55 තමයි ඇවරේජ් ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් කොස්ට් එක තියෙන්නේ මේ 30 බිලියන් ඩොලර්ස් වලට. 5යි කියලා ගන්නට ලීස් වෙන්නේ. එතකොට 5ක් තමයි අවුරුද්දකට ගෙවන්න තියෙන්නේ. ඒතර ඩොලර් බිලියන 1.5යි. ඒ කියන්නේ බිලියන 300යි. ওই 300නේ ප්‍රශ්නේ. ඇත්තටම මේකේ ඉන්ජෙක්ෂන්ස් ටික තට්ටක් ගාලා වැදුනොත් එහෙම මම නම් මේ රටේ කිසිම ප්‍රශ්නයක් දකින්නේ නැහැ. බයි ඉන්ජෙක්ෂන් ටනුන ගහස් මිනිස්සු මැරිලා ඉකොනොමි එක අන්තිමට යන්න එහෙමත් කරන්න පුළුවන් නේ ඕන්න. ඒතර මට ඒකට රෙස්පොන්සිබිලිටි ගන්න බෑ. හැබැයි ඉන්ජෙක්ෂන් ටික ගහගත්තොත් දැන් ඇමරිකාව ඉන්ජෙක්ෂන්ස් ටික ගහලා රටවල් ඇරලා තියෙන්නේ. එංගලන්තේ ඔක්කොම වැඩ.
Government today announced that it commenced the construction work for a 39-acre bird park in Colombo. The State Ministry of Urban Development added that the project has been estimated over 1.5 billion rupees. Sri Lanka has begun construction of a 39-acre bird park in Colombo at an estimated cost of 1.51 billion rupees to revive tourism. The State Ministry of Urban Development said that the park will be built on a design-build finance and operate basis and will be completed by 2025. The park is to be built on 39 acres of marshland in Madivilla owned by the Urban Development Authority with the objective of turning it into a global tourist attraction. The ministry's statement also added that the wetland is under great threat at present due to unauthorized encroachment by residents, dumping of sewage, the connection of sewage systems to the canal flowing through the wetland and unauthorized filling. It further said that in order to protect this wetland and to keep the canals flowing through the wetland directly connected to the Devanna Oil Clean, the Colombo Bird Park project is to be constructed within 24 months centering on the Madivilla wetland. The State Ministry said that the park is planned to be fully fledged wetland park with bird shows, exotic and local bird watching opportunities, water parks, forest parks and restaurants. The ministry also assured that all constructions will be completed in a manner to protect the Madivilla wetland, which is currently being destroyed, and to develop only 2% of the wetland, while the rest of the land will be developed in an eco-friendly manner in accordance with the design plan of the park. The ministry also added that a private sector investor was selected for the project to design, build, finance and operate. The Colombo stock market turned negative yesterday in an apparent reflection of investor concerns over the country's foreign reserves. The diversified financial sector was the top contributor to the market turnover due to LOLC holdings, whilst the sector index gained 3.42%. The CSE index turned negative yesterday in an apparent reflection of investor concerns over the country's foreign reserves and debt servicing, as well as behavior of one liquid stock. The all-share price index lost 21 points to 0.27% and S&P SL20 declined by 35 points or 1.15%. Turnover improved to Rs 2.3 billion, involving 60.6 million shares. First Capital Holdings, commenting on the market behavior, said that fundamental shares plunged as traders dumped, perhaps in disappointment. They also added that the bourse ended in the red as a result of a drop in fundamental shares, wiping out the gains witnessed in the last two trading sessions, while ASPI retreated from the 19-week record high. Index surged over the first 10 minutes of trading on Wednesday, reaching an intraday high of 7,956 and thereafter displayed a continuous downward trend, finally closing at an intraday low of 7,857. First Capital said turnover was at a strong level of Rs 2.3 billion, recording more than Rs 2 billion for the first time in over a week, led by diversified financial sector, accounting for a total contribution of 50%. The diversified financial sector was the top contributor to the market turnover due to LOLC holdings, while the sector index gained 3.42%. The share price of LOLC holdings decreased by 16 rupees and 25 cents to close at 401 rupees and 75 cents. The capital goods sector was the second highest contributor to the market turnover due to Haley's and Royal Ceramics, while the sector index decreased by 1.50%. Stay tuned for stock updates.
Unlimited නම් ඉතින් SLT Mobitel Unlimited Internet. හැමෝටම ෆිට වෙන හෝම් සහ මොබයිල් ඉන්ටර්නෙට් පැකේජ් පෙළක්. කුරු වෙන්න අපේ Unlimited Internet වලට. SLT Mobitel එකම එක සැබඳියාව.
දැන් නිවසේ සිටම ආරක්ෂාකාරීව පහසුවෙන් SLT Mobitel හෝම් බිල් පත් ගණන් සුදු කරන්න ඔබට පුළුවන්. MySLT app එක හරහා SLT Mobitel වෙබ් අඩවියෙන් බිල්පතේ QR එකකින් ඉන්ටර්නෙට් බැංකින් හා බැංකින් app මගින් ඔබේ ආරක්ෂාව වෙනුවෙන් වගකීම් ඉටු කරන SLT Mobitel එකම එක සැබඳියාව.
Welcome back after the break. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The all-share price index gained by 18.88 points to close at 7,837.76 and S&P SL20 gained by 34.70 points to close at 2,968.26. The turnover was 1.71 billion rupees and almost 87 million shares were traded. And up next are Forex rates. That's all news for today. See you tomorrow with State of Business at the usual time. Until then, take care and good night.